Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good
Thank you for
morning.
joining us today. Elisa is going to start. Thank you.
Okay, so bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Welcome to Reforma Virtual Spanish Language Book Bus Winter Series. My name is Elisa Garcia and I am Supervising Librarian of Teen Services at the New York Public Library. And I am also the Vice President of Reforma Northeast. I'm also the co-chair of this Book Bus Winter Series. This free event is open to librarians, educators, students, and professionals interested in serving Latino and Spanish-speaking communities. In our first session, we have Lorito Books, HarperCollins Español, Lectorum Publications, Fondo de Cultura, Económica USA, Latin American Bookstores, Inc., and Spanish publishers who will be featuring their new titles. Before we start the presentation, I am delighted to introduce the former President Oscar Baeza, who will be launching the series and saying a few words about Reforma's mission and the purpose of this series. Welcome, Oscar.
Gracias, Elisa. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning or afternoon, depending where you are Zooming from. I have the honor of kicking off the 2021 Virtual Spanish Language Winter Book Buzz Series event, a wonderful series where we will get to see publishers, librarians, and book lovers come together and learn about the best material available in the market. For the past 50 years, Reforma has strived to assist libraries around the world to build Latinx-friendly collections. Reforma champions itself around the notion that a great library exists when its library collection reflects the community it serves. Reforma is a prosperous ALA affiliate organization with over 1,000 members nationwide, fighting and speaking up for our Spanish-speaking community and members are just two of the things that we do every day. Our association thinks big, we act fast, and never are we afraid to take on challenges. Reforma surrounds itself with great friends, awesome members, and partners with organizations alike across the country and even internationally to ensure that our library profession's needs are always being met. I am so happy to hear of all the great publishers who have decided to join our Book Buzz Winter Series. Without our good friends in the publishing and distribution business, good titles would probably never reach our libraries. So a big thank you to publishing and distribution companies that are corporate members of our beloved organization and who champion themselves around Spanish language titles and publishing Latino and Latina authors. So thank you to all reformistas who have joined us today. Remember that an organization is only as great as its members. And for those who are not members and are here today, thank you as well. Reforma is waiting for you. Hopefully you will join us. Special thank you to the Book Buzz Winter Series Committee for all of your hard work in putting together this wonderful event. So without further ado, may God bless y como siempre, adelante Reforma. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Oscar. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sonia Bautista, and I'm the Senior Librarian for the City of Commerce, a public library in Los Angeles. I'm also a Reforma member of the LA chapter, and I'm the current treasurer. Now we want to have Mariela Diaz from the Spanish Publishers, who's going to introduce our keynote speaker. Mariela?
Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Mariela Diaz, and I am the sales manager of Spanish Publishers. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Don Miguel Ruiz, a man whose life echoes the truths he expresses in his writing. His work has touched and changed the lives of innumerable people. He's a renowned spiritual teacher and international best-selling author of the Toltec Wisdom series, which has sold more than 12 million copies and has been published in 46 languages worldwide, including the books The Four Agreements, The Mastery of Love, The Voice of Knowledge, The Four Agreements Companion Book, The Circle of Fire, The Fifth Agreement. Spanish editions are available through Spanish publishers. Don Miguel Ruiz was born in rural Mexico to healers and practitioners of ancient Toltec traditions. His careful examination of this essential truth about life and humanity have led him to be a force of true change in the world. Today, he will be share his wisdom with us. Let us welcome him warmly.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here with all of you that I consider you my brothers, sisters, my friends. And well, what can I say? It's all about love. Oh, by the way, the word Toltec means artist. Then when I talk about Toltec wisdom, I'm talking about the wisdom of the artist. And with that point of view, we can see that every single human is an artist. We are always creating, and we create a masterpiece of art, each one of us. And this is a story. The story of our life is something that we are creating every single moment, whatever we do or don't. Even if we are not aware, we are always creating, we are acting all the time. Then it's a big pleasure for me to share with you my love. Do you have any question? Any of you? Well, if not, then I want to present my most recent book published by editorial Urano, and is The Actor. This is a series of 4 books that we call the Mystery School. Then the Mystery School is all around the planet Earth, and we have only one teacher, and the teacher is life itself. It goes in all the different directions in humanity. Then in our imagination, we can see that in this university, there's 5 continents, and there's a lot of campus with thousands of different languages. And even that we have kind of the same mind, the expression will be a little different, but all the needs, all the communications that we do is kind of the same. And what is important to understand is that we all are actors. We are acting all the time, even if we don't have that awareness. Before we was born, there was a stage waiting for us. As soon as we was born, we got the attention of every single one. And everyone was trying to hook our attention. And first, they want to teach us the language that we speak. And to that language, is the beginning of the creation of that masterpiece of art, which is the story of our life. Without knowing, we are the ones who wrote the script where we act. Then when we grow up and we have all the knowledge, then we were so afraid of people's opinions. And we try to please everyone with our behavior, with our acting. And we can see that everybody have an opinion of us, and we were so afraid of being rejected by anyone, by everyone. Then we start acting in a completely different way. Like when we are at home, we are a certain way. When we are at school, we act in a completely different way. When we are working, we act in a completely different way. Then we can say that we are polyphacetic actors. We change like a changing mask, depending with whom are we interacting. And we can see that when we learn to act and becomes kind of a master the acting of being ourselves, we start losing our authenticity little by little by trying to please other people. We start sacrificing ourselves to please everyone else. But when the moment comes and we discover that we are acting all the time, we also discover that everyone around us, they are acting also all the time. And they play the role that they create for themselves in the script that they wrote. Then we can see that we can change the script if we don't like the way we are acting, if we don't like the way we are living our life. Something also very important to understand is that the script is changing. The stage is changing all the time. It's never the same. And it's changing not only in the physical place, but in our mind also. Like the stage that we used to have when we are teenagers is completely different than when we are young adults, or when we get married, or right now. It keeps shifting. And we used to do that change that they're little by little, and we're adapting to the stage all the time. In the beginning of the last year, it was a big change in the stage in the entire world. Then what used to be normal, all of a sudden, is no longer normal. And when we can see that we are acting, what we can do is to adapt to the new circumstances, to the new stage. Instead of reject it or complain, it's easier if we just adapt to the new circumstances. Something that I find very interesting is that changes of the stages, they put humanity together when it's nature the one who create these changes. Like when there's a hurricane, an earthquake, now with the pandemic, that brings the best of all of us, and we work together to try to face whatever challenge coming from nature. But on the other hand, when that changes of the stage is created by humans, that create division, and they bring the worst of us. Like we can see in the history of humanity, all those different wars, we see all the injustice, all the abuse. But when we have that awareness, it's easier for ourselves to adapt to all those different circumstances and go with the flow, not just to survive, but to give and receive help that we can give ourselves, but we also know how to receive. And by the way, I think that love is an equilibrium between gratitude and generosity. When we receive, we feel so grateful. And the reaction that we have is to also give, to be generous. When we share, the ones who receive, they're grateful, and their reaction is to give back. Then we can see that we are raised in love. We don't fall in love. It's a big difference. And as you can see, the main problem really is love itself. When we was born, we didn't have any knowledge, but we are really the incarnation of love. Everybody loves us, and we just love everybody, even without words. But when we learn the language, we also learn how society behaves. And what we see is how they love each other. And we learn to love the same way that they love, which means with conditions. I love you if you let me control you, and you love me if I let you control me. Wherever we turn our face, we see that kind of relationship all the time. Someone tried to control another one, and they're defending and trying to control the other one. And that's how we learn to love. And the worst part is that we learn to love ourselves exactly the same way. I love myself if I am a great actor. I love myself if I perform the way I should perform, not according just myself, but according to everybody around me. As you can see, we become the worst critic to ourselves. And now, until we find out that we are acting all the time and that everybody is acting, everything starts shifting. Everything starts changing. Because with that awareness, you know that whatever you was doing before and whatever opinion everybody else have about you, it will change and shift. It will not be for that long because they put their attention in themselves, in their own acting, in their own script. Then we find out that we don't have that need to sacrifice ourselves in behalf of everybody else. And we start changing our acting, focusing our attention in what we love to do, in what we enjoy to do. And when we do what we love to do, we recover our authenticity little by little. And you can see that everything and everybody around us is changing in our eyes. Not because they really changed, but what changed is the way that we perceive them. Because we no longer judge them the way we used to. And we now accept many of the things that we didn't accept ourselves. When we see the behavior of our family, or parents, or beloved, or children, with that awareness, that will change because we no longer will have the need to control them and to impose to them what we believe. Because now we recover something that we lose long time ago. And it's just one word. And that word is respect. Because respect is the most important part of love. And the respect have to begin with ourselves. We need to respect our own creation. We need to respect ourselves as an artist. Once that we respect ourselves, now we can respect everybody around us. We respect our beloved. We respect our parents, and we no longer will judge them for whatever remember they did to us. Because they did what they know how to do, the best they know. And the same with their parents. Then we can see that most of us, we have all those memories about our parents, how they control us. And what used to look like injustice, all of a sudden, with respect, it changed. And we can see that they did for us the best they can. If they didn't do more, it's because they didn't know how. When you're married and you have your children, it's exactly like when your parents have you. They had no idea what it means to have a child, how to educate a child. And by the way, that child was changing every single moment. First to be a baby, then a toddler, then a child, a teenager, then whatever you learned before is out of date because he's changing, he's shifting. It's not the same to deal with a teenager that someone who is 9 or 10 years old. And not just that, we the actors also change. Let's see that you married 10, 15 years ago. The way you guys used to be 10 years ago is completely different than the way you love each other now. You changed, your beloved also changed. Then it's about to keep adapting to all those changes. And all that is made with respect. If I respect my beloved respect me, well, together we wrote a great script where we both worked together looking for something that we can enjoy most of the time. Then you see that we become responsible for our own creation. And we no longer have to blame anybody. We cannot blame our parents anymore, or beloved, or children, or friends, or boss. No, we make decisions, and the decisions always have consequences, either good or bad, but they also bring consequences. Then that's the reason why I decided to write this book, The Actor, which is the first book of the series of the Mystery School books. Then I really hope that if you read it, you enjoy it. Because it's just like when I wrote the 4 Agreements, it was the result of 10 years of working with a lot of people to find out how their mind works. And I decided that when I stopped being a medical doctor, when I decided that it was more important for me to understand the human mind than to keep healing people. Then 10 years of work that gave the result of the 4 Agreements. And the challenge was make it very small, but very easy to read, that anyone can read it. I wrote that book for everyone, for the people that hardly went to school, for the most intelligent people. Fortunately, it had success, and it communicated with everybody. It was a gift from me to everybody. It's an act of love. That is the 4 Agreements, the very first of all my books. Well,
Thank you.
if you guys have any question, please feel free.
Yes, they can write them on the chat, but thank you very much. Muchas gracias,
You're
Don
very
Miguel
welcome.
Ruiz. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, all of you.
And we want to continue with the presentation. Our first being from Pam Fochman from Lorito Books. Lorito Books is a corporate member of Reforma. For more information about this company and contact information, please visit reforma.org/bookbuzz. And remember to use your hashtag #ReformaBookBuzz. Feel free to add any questions or comments that you have in the chat box during the presentation, and they were going to be answered at the end. As a reminder, these presentations are being recorded for future viewing. So if Pan, you're up next. I think you're muted, Pam.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Pam Fochman. I'm the president and founder of Lorito Books. We're a Spanish bookseller based in beautiful Colorado. And today I am going to talk about a mini collection that we've developed for the adult readers, focusing on child development, educational psychology, and just generally practical advice for parents, because it has been a hard time for parents. And parents are turning to libraries for support to understand how to manage homeschooling, how to manage family challenges during a pandemic. So we wanted to put together a collection of material that helps parents navigate these changes and position the library as a resource for parenting materials. Sorry, I'm having a difficulty here. This is a little humorous note. I'm not talking to myself, I'm having a parent-teacher conference, which is the reality that many parents are facing today, the challenges of homeschooling, navigating all of those difficulties, plus juggling work and family responsibilities. So with this, with these unprecedented challenges, our mini collection offers parents advice and practical tips on raising emotionally healthy lifelong learners. We have gotten into the adult market about a year and a half ago, and we carry a number of adult books, but we are really focusing, building the collection on family health and wellness, with the assumption that if parents are at the libraries with their children, they will look for resources that benefit the family as well. The first book in this collection, there are 10 books in this series. The first book in this collection is from an independent publisher from Mexico, Seedcli. And Seedcli is a publisher focused on adult or on children's and juvenile materials. But this 2020 release is a co-edition that they did with Sede Innovación. And there are actually 3 books in this series. I'm talking about 2 of them today. The first one, Las Emociones de mi Bebé, focuses on emotional development for ages 0 to 3 years. And what I love about these 2 books is that they are so accessible. They're easy to follow. The text is directed to first-time parents, caregivers. I feel like this book could even be used in a high school child development class. It's that accessible. This is, here I'm showing you a couple pages from the interior of the book. Very beautifully illustrated, laid out, clean layout.
Sorry, Pam, you haven't shared your screen, so we're not looking at.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, is it sharing now?
No, not yet.
Let me try this again.
Yes, we can see it now.
Now you can see it. I'm so sorry about that. So this, I'm going to go back to the cover image of Las Emociones de mi Bebé. This is the book from Seedcli. This is the interior. Can you see this now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then the second interior page on this book, I wanted to show this one because it demonstrates how accessible and easy to follow this book is. It breaks down the key aspects of social emotional development in infants to toddler ages. Very easy to follow. This is the style that they have used throughout the book. So an excellent resource for first-time parents, for preschool educators, for grandparents. That's not at all intimidating and easy to follow. The other thing that's really great about this is that this book was written by psychologists from Mexico. And it is for psychologists that are part of a psychological training center called Atentamente. And when we were selecting these materials, we're particularly interested in content that was authentic, because in my personal experience, I've done a lot of volunteer work in orphanages and with children in need in Mexico, in Peru, and Guatemala. And what I have found is that the language around those organizations and those situations is very different from what I hear in the US. So there's a significance of having culturally authentic material written by psychologists and educators in Mexico and other Spanish-speaking countries. So we were excited to find this content. The second book in this series from CIDCLI is Educar Niños Sanos y Felices. Again, another guide for parents and caregivers for ages infancy through age 3. And this one also focuses on the emotional development of infants and toddlers, also directed to parents and educators, also very accessible layout and design, easy to follow. It was written by Elisa Bonilla Ruiz, and she has held leadership roles in CEP, the educational organization or agency in Mexico, as well as a director position at Ediciones SM of Mexico. This one, it's just another page in this one. Cómo se comunica el bebé. This focuses on language and development with the baby. And then this chart, these are just the stages, but again, showing you this because this is really about how this book is so accessible and easy to follow and not at all intimidating for a first-time parent who might be slightly overwhelmed. The next book in this collection is Educa Bonito. This is written by Maria Soto Vergara Editorial. She's certified, Maria is certified in Disciplina Positiva methodology, and which is based on mutual respect between the adult and child. It was published in Spain. It is 350 pages, so much more text dense than the other two books I presented, but excellent resource for applying the positive discipline method for in education as well as child rearing. I've made notes on some of these where they're authentic, and all of these titles will be on our website, and we'll note authentic content as well as provide some of the interior pages. So you can see more information on these books at loritobooks.com. The next one is El Desarrollo Emocional de tu Hijo. This one's kind of, the cover's a little dull, but it's got some good content. It's more academic than the previous titles. The author, Rafael Guerrero, is a PhD in education, and his approach is to focus on, focusing on brain development in children. He addresses the brain development and ADHD, behavioral issues from a developmental perspective. So more of the science behind educational psychology. All of these books are copyright 2020, 2021. A couple are December of 2019, 2020 copyrights. The next book is Cómo piensa mi hijo, Psicología Infantil Práctica. This one is actually a translation from DK Books, but it is also very practical and practical tips, gives parents tools on how to deal with understanding the educational development and psychology. La Moción de Educar. This is a very hands-on approach. written by two mental health care professionals from Spain. It's a very practical guide for parents. It's very supportive. The message is very supportive and positive, empowering to parents. And it focuses heavily on the mental health of the parents, which is really important to address. And it's illustrated with some really beautiful illustrations that also makes it easier to assimilate the content. Oberon Editorial is the publisher from Spain. And we'll put some pages, some interior pages of this book on our website as well. Crecer felices ante grandes cambios de vida. I can't think of a better book for this time because it really addresses the external stresses that occur with families and how to handle them, how to navigate them, dealing directly with those external stresses and alleviating some of the anxiety that comes along with them. The author is a Montessori trained, also following the Disciplina Positiva methodology. She's also a blogger. Peque Felicidad is her blog, and her website has 42 million views. So very popular in Spain, an excellent book for dealing with external stresses that a family faces. This one is from Argentina. It's 100 claves del desarrollo emocional en la infancia. And Lectio is the publisher from Argentina. However, the author is a psychologist practicing in Barcelona. And she specializes in family therapy and special needs children. So again, easy to assimilate, 100 keys for emotional development, focusing on brain development and learning issues. This next one is by Pax Editorial. It's the title is Cómo educar a niños con déficit de atención. And we are especially like Pax's materials on parenting. They have an extensive catalog of parenting books focusing on special topics like ADHD, autism, dyslexia. So this is one of their new titles due out this month, I believe. It's February of 2021. And what I like about this book, having raised a child with ADHD, is that it focuses a lot on taking the shame out of ADHD and giving parents practical tips for dealing with the challenges, the everyday challenges of ADHD children, and then talks about the behavioral issues, the learning disabilities that can go along with it. So it's an excellent resource. The last one, Mentalidades Matemáticas, is a translation from a mathematician. And what this book does is helping kids to unlock the mystery of math. And so a very practical guide to math strategies, understanding math, taking some of the anxiety out of math, and making math accessible and fun. It's published by Editorial Sirio, copyright 2020. So we are adding these books to our website. For more information on these 10 titles, you can go to loritobooks.com. And when you get to our menu, click on Adult and Adult Collection, Parenting and Family Wellness Collection will come up, and you can see all of these titles displayed there. And we'll put some more of the interior pages so you can review the content. If you have any questions about the collection, you could email me. I'm Pam at loritobooks.com. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. So with that, our next presenter is Edward Benitez from HarperCollins Español. For more information about this company and contact information, please visit reforma.org/bookbuzz. And remember to use our hashtag ReformaBookBuzz. Feel free to add your questions to the comment box during the presentation and they will be answered at the end. Welcome, Edward.
Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much. And I'm Edward Benitez. I'm the executive editor for HarperCollins Español. And I'm thrilled once again to be in your presence and showing you our latest titles that we've got upcoming for the first 4 months of the year. Okay, so before I get started, I just wanted to give you a quick highlight of our fall 2020 titles, including the mega bestseller in English from Don Winslow, Rotos, a collection of interweaving short stories. Sunny Hostin from The View, Yo soy estas verdades, Viviendo entre dos mundos, and that is her story of growing up in Spanish Harlem and how she became a prosecutor for the state of New York and onward and upwards to work on The View on TV. Then Mi Sombría Vanessa, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. That was a New York Times best-selling novel, very much about the Me Too movement. And the audio has been selected as one of the best audios in Spanish of the year. Mario Escobar from Spain, Bibliotecaria de Saint Malo, a wonderful historic fictional novel taking place in France during World War II. From Dr. Alejandro Junger in Método Clean, it's everything that you ever wanted to know about clean eating and clean diet. La Mujer de Rojo by Gianna Giovinazzo, which is a novel about the fictionalized account of the life of Anita Garibaldi. And finally, last but certainly not least, La Latina con Baja Autoestima by Rosie Mercado, a gloriously wonderful, beautiful book about the trials and tribulations of the Mexican-American Rosie Mercado, growing up in an abusive marriage, and she became vastly overweight, and how she turned that around and became a plus-size model and inspirational speaker and life coach. She's just wonderful. And with that, we'll move on to our new titles coming out in January, beginning with Come Tierra, or Earth Eaters by Dolores Reyes. Now, Dolores Reyes is an Argentinian author, and she's written what I consider one of the most important and one of the best reviewed novels this year published in English. It's been published in English by Harper Via, which is one of the imprints of HarperCollins. And Earth Eaters, Come Tierra, is set in an unnamed slum in contemporary Argentina. Come Tierra is a story of a young woman, she's not named in the book, who finds herself drawn to eating the earth, a compulsion that gives her visions of the broken and lost lives. With her first taste of dirt, she learns the horrifying truth of her mother's death. Disturbed by what she witnesses, the woman keeps her visions to herself. But when Earth Eater begins an unlikely relationship with a withdrawn police officer, word of her ability begins to spread, and soon desperate members of her community beg her for her help, anxious to uncover the truth about their own loved ones. Like I said, it was published in English to rave reviews by Harper Via. Come Tierra is an earth-shattering novel filled with elements of magical realism. It's so visceral and moving at once. It's dynamic and intense at the same time. It will remind you of the best works of Jorge Luis Borges. It's the main character is simply beautiful. This is, without a doubt, a terrific novel. Now for something completely different, You Were Born for This, Has Nacido para Esto, by Chani Nicholas. This is a New York Times bestseller in English, having sold over 60,000 copies in hardcover. This is a great little basic primer for astrologers, beginning astrologers, and people that are interested in astrology, especially geared, but not exclusive to by any means, for younger people. It is thorough but digestible for the newcomer of astrology, channel that guides you through understanding your chart with the care, nuance, and expertise of the best kind of teacher. She shares her wisdom and expertise while prioritizing your agency in the process. Her vulnerability and authenticity shines through her writing. Now, we all know that Hispanics are drawn to astrology. Thank you, Walter Mercado. This is the guide Latinx readers have been searching for. This is the right kind of astrology for beginners with a self-reflection, devotional component Spanish language readers have been looking for. Now, mind you, I'm not a serious believer, but I do appreciate how things like astrology, personality tests, etc., can invite a personal introspection and meditation in a way that is not specifically religious. So this is just a glorious day. It's very hip, it's very current, and everybody will love it. Has nacido para esto by Chani Nicholas. Next, we have The Silent Wife, Silenciadas by Karen Slaughter. And Karen Slaughter, of course, is one of the world's most popular and acclaimed storytellers. Her books have been published in over 120 countries with more than 35 million copies sold across the globe. And Silenciadas is a spellbinding, intense mystery thriller that is a must-read for Karen Slaughter fans or somebody just looking for a very good, intense psychological thriller. And the book is about women by a serial killer start to occur, which bear the same MO of a rapist that had been locked for life 8 years ago. Now a dangerous serial killer is out there hunting these women. The prisoner, who was put behind bars for past allegations of brutal murders, demands to see working the case, Will Trent. And during this meeting, he has been framed by the corrupt police. So this book is absolutely edge of the seat reading. This is the fifth Karen Slaughter book that we've published by HarperCollins Español, and every new title sells better than the previous book. Karen has a very strong following in Spanish-speaking U.S. and in Latin America, and she has attended what's called a lot of book fair as an invited guest. So she has a built-in audience for readers in Spanish. And next we have Valentine in English, and in Espanol we changed the title to Amor y Furia. This is by Elizabeth Wetmore, and this is probably my favorite book on the list. This is a New York Times bestselling title in English, and it was selected by Read with Jenna Today's Show Book Club. And this features a Latinx protagonist. Amor y Furia is a haunting and powerful debut by Elizabeth Wetmore, taking place in Odessa, Texas in 1976. And believe me when I say, when you read it, you will feel as you are there. This is an amazing novel. The intimate thoughts and feelings of the characters make such an impact on you, and you become privy to the burdens they carry as they make their way through life in this dry, brutal land where oil and men rule. The novel opens with Gloria Ramirez, a 14-year-old Mexican-American girl who, after being brutally attacked and raped, has so much taken from her. After Gloria, she changes her name to Glory later on in the novel. She is beaten and raped. She escapes her attacker, finally making it to the doorstep of Mary Rose Whitehead. Mary Rose was no longer with her daughter, but bravely keeps Gloria safe with so much danger to herself. However, want intimate details of perhaps of what's happened. Mary Rose's community is far from impressed by her active courage and courage. Because if Hughes Reykins is a well-connected young man and Gloria is a Hispanic girl, Mary Rose nonconformities not only earns sharp rebukes
Excuse
from
me,
other women.
Edward.
Yes.
We're hearing a lot of background noise. I don't know if it's your headphones.
Oh gosh, I'm really sorry. Let me close my window. Maybe that'll help. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that. It's earned sharp rebukes from the women she's associated with, but she becomes a target from the men in the community. Crimes against women are nothing new, unfortunately, but the time period and the story itself were told in a captivating original voice. Even in the darkness and despair, this story offers hope and inspiration. And I think that's what made me love this book all the more. This book left a mark on me. I absolutely love it. It's been optioned for a movie, for a movie by Netflix, and everybody should read it. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, so those are the titles that we have for winter 2021, only those 4. But then I wanted to give you a quick rundown of what we've got coming up in summer 2021. And the most important title is El Secreto Más Grande, which is by Rhonda Burns, the author of The Secret. This book sold in Spanish over 650,000 copies in Spanish. And the greatest secret is the continuation of her wisdom. And it's a quantum leap that it will take the reader beyond the material world into the spiritual realm, where all possibilities exist. In the greatest secret, you will find profound wisdom from spiritual teachers from around the world, past and present, who have discovered the greatest secret. Healing practices that can be put to use immediately to dissolve fears, uncertainty, anxiety, and pain, and the ultimate key to ending suffering and discovering lasting happiness. So this is Rhonda Burns at her best. You will love it. It will be published in June of 2021. And then just a couple of quick notes on titles coming out later in the year. Daniel Silva with a new novel in Spanish, My Vanishing Country by Macari Sellers. This is a wonderful autobiography of what many people believe will be the next Barack Obama. He is a Democrat who is growing in influence, and many people think that he's got a future in politics. Muchachas Ordinarias, Ordinary Girls, published by HarperCollins Books in English, is the story of a Latina Puerto Rican girl growing up in the slums of los caseríos in Puerto Rico, and how she escaped with her family to Miami. And it's absolutely wonderful. And finally, Quixote de Brooklyn. It's the story of a teacher who encounters children that are immigrants, undocumented immigrants in Brooklyn, and he teaches them Don Quixote. And they put on a play, they put on a show of Don Quixote in Spanish for their parents, for their community. And it's just an absolutely wonderful book. The story is about as much about the children as it is about Stephen Howe, the teacher that envelops these children with love and makes them better people. And that's all that I've got. So thank you very much. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Again, Edward.Benitez at HarperCollins.com. I'll be more than happy to work with you, help you in any way possible. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you, Edward, for joining us today. Okay, we will continue with our third presenter, which is Marjorie Samper from Lectorum Publications. Lectorum is a corporate member of Reforma. For more information about this company, you can contact reforma.org/bookbus, and remember to use your hashtag #ReformaBookBus. Feel free to add your questions to the chat box during the presentation, as they will be answered at the end. The chat box in the beginning was disabled, but it is now enabled, so you can go ahead and use it. So now let's hear from Marjorie.
Okay, thank you, Sonia. Just on behalf of Lectorum and Margie, Hilda, and myself, Alex Correa, we want to thank Reforma for the invitation, and especially Oscar, Ana, Sonia, Elisa, and Edwin to make this happen and this possible. Also, I just want to go back to two words that Mr. Ruiz said, and how different our world would be if we just, he mentioned two things, love and respect. If we all could, not just us, but the whole world, have that present, how different the world would be. So let me start. Margie's going to do the presentation. So let me see how we do this. So I'm going to share with you guys. All right, and let me see. No, I have to go first here. And here. There you go. I'm going to start right here. Slideshow from beginning. Let's preview, see all slides. I apologize. I have to go one by one. And one more. One more. Going backwards?
No, that's it. That's the first one.
All right, there you go. All right, so thank you. And Margie, let's go ahead.
Okay, when Alex asked me to pick about 20 of my favorite adult books, I picked my favorite one, so I hope I don't go over, and if I run out of time, feel free to cut me off and we can let you know a little something about the books a different way. This first book is called Bulos Científicos, and it's a book that addresses scientific hoax and debunked theories that some people actually still believe. And those include things as simple as people who believe that the world was flat. That's like the first one that it goes to, but then it also addresses people who believe that man didn't actually land on the moon. That was a huge conspiracy, that vaccines cause autism, AIDS doesn't exist. And then one that particularly caught my eye was that 5G cell phone towers spread coronavirus. And I, of course, just got a 5G phone and was happy to see it wasn't true because I don't want to be a super spreader. Then the second book that I wanted to show is called Convivir con un adolescente es fácil. And my son just turned 19 in October, and I could have used this book a few years ago, but it didn't exist. And it talks about, and it is true that we as parents seem to forget that we too were teenagers, and we think all of a sudden when a child gets into this age that it's something that none of us went through. And it talks about the importance of communication and the impact, even though you think your teen might not be listening to you, we as parents have a lot of influence on important issues in their lives, from friendship, sexuality, and of course, what we didn't have to deal with, but social media. Third book, since I didn't have this book, I suffered from insomnia. And this book is from a series called El Doctor Responde, and they are all doctors in Spain that use their patient experience and talk about many different issues. And this one, they talk about how insomnia is treated depends on its causes, if it's physiological, emotional, psychological, or even caused by medicines that you're taking. The fourth book is Cocinar, Cero Residuos. And I found this book particularly interesting, especially in like the beginning of the pandemic, when you would walk into the supermarket and you wouldn't find anything. And then coupled with all the food waste that we have in this country, this book shows you how to make things using everything. And I'm talking shrimp shells, Parmesan rinds, broccoli stems, or even if you pick up an avocado when it's all brown inside, this gives you recipes on how to use it as opposed to throwing it away. The next book is Enseña a tus hijos a dirigir las emociones. And this book deals with something that I myself didn't know anything about, which is called emotional digestion. And it's saying that, you know, children feel the same stressors that we're all feeling, and it's up to parents to create an emotionally safe environment. And emotional digestion actually allows you to be grounded and calm, and this will work for adults as well as children. The next book is Vivir en lo Esencial, and this was a book that talked about what we learned from being isolated and quarantine, and it gave us all a chance to reconnect with our values, what's truly important, things like gratitude, patience, generosity, selflessness. And it's definitely a positive to come out of the past couple of months. The next book is Reapasionate, which I kind of chose this book because I was sort of on like this pandemic kind of theme, and you know how so many couples are fighting because they're stuck at home together all the time. And this just gives you sort of easy ways to sort of rekindle the passion that people first felt when they originally got together. The next book is El ADN Psicológico, and this book introduces readers to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And this talks about how the same way we all have our own DNA for our bodies, and we also have it, you know, in mental health issues. And it says that, you know, you really, by looking at the pyramid, and you can then decide what your own needs are, and then you can be definitely living your best life, for lack of a better way to say it. The next book is Simplifica tu Vida, and this book gives 100 tips really to sort of slow down and be happy, be like well-adjusted, and some are like really simple, like, you know, declutter your house, or, you know, plant a garden, and other ones, you know, are more, I would say, more in depth. It's like, you know, change your expectations. And, you know, this will allow you to sort of focus on what is truly important. The next book is Breve Historia de la Esclavitud. And historian James Walvin examines the slave trade, slave life, and really takes a look at how the United Kingdom went from one of the leading traffickers to pioneers in abolition. And it, you know, it's very interesting because it gives a global view, not just, let's say, focused on the United States. So it's actually, you know, it really will sort of make people reflect on the repercussions of slavery throughout history. The next book is, I guess I have to say COVID-19. I would have said COVID-19. This book is very interesting because it's not just talking about the current crisis. It also talks about how these global pandemics happen, how they can be stopped. And it also looked at the lessons we did not learn from SARS, MERS, Ebola, and other sort of recent illnesses that affected people globally. Now for something lighter. This book is called Próximo Año en La Habana, and it's written by a writer from Florida, and it takes place in two different time periods. It begins in Cuba in 1958 with the daughter of a sugar baron who begins an affair with a revolutionary, which sort of cast her a little bit out of high society. And then soon after Castro comes into power, her family flees to Florida. Then you fast forward to Miami 2017, and you meet the daughter who had the affair. You meet her granddaughter, who always grew up hearing about her grandmother's time in Cuba, and she could sing all the songs from the time. And after her grandmother died, she decides to go to Havana to scatter her grandmother's ashes, only to discover that everything that her grandmother remembered had completely changed. So it sort of takes place in two time periods. This book, El Viaje de la, and I always pronounce this wrong,
Libélula.
Libélula. This one takes place, it begins actually in Spain in 1940, where a daughter of a family of famous jewelers is sent some Art Nouveau pieces that had been designed by her aunt, who disappeared years and years ago. And she decided to find out what happened to her grandmother, and this, her aunt, who had gone to the Belgian Congo. So it really involves all these different countries, and we've had other books by this writer. It really is interesting to sort of see what happened to these two women. And this book, of course, I was fascinated by because I grew up in New York. And this is a book, it's called El Crimen en Nueva York. And the authors of this book went into the NYPD's crime archives and did a large study of crime over the past 200 years. And it begins in the 1800s when there was a neighborhood called the 5 Points, which was very rough. And it ends in the 2010s. And it really, you know, it's packed with, you can see it packed with photographs. I mean, you don't have to be from New York to write it because, you know, it has everybody. It has the Rosenbergs, you know, it really is. If you like watch like Discovery ID or something, this is the book for you. And I also had to show it because Hilda's son is a New York City police officer. So I knew she would like that book also.
I have it.
Oh, she does have it. Okay. Okay, so now we're going back to fiction. This is Philip Carr's, this is El Arte del Crimen, which is a translation of research, which is sort of art imitating life, because the wife of a very, very popular crime writer is murdered. So the author becomes a suspect, just like the characters in his books, and the only one who can save him is the ghost writer, sort of like, you know, James Patterson, who writes with all these different writers. He's the only one who can protect him. And then since I did a shout out for New York, I'll do this for all that people in Los Angeles. This is a translation of Walter Mosley's Blonde Faith, which takes place in 1967. It involves Walter Mosley's character, Easy Rawlins, who needs to find two of Los Angeles's most dangerous criminals. One is actually a friend of his. Another one is a Vietnam vet that was turned into a killing machine. And the only clue that he has is a photograph of a blonde on a yacht, hence this thing here. And it really is a great read. Then We have Fuego Nocturno, which is a translation of The Night of Fire by Michael Connolly. It has his favorite detective, Harry Bosch, and his mentor when he was a rookie detective was a man named John Jack Thompson. John Jack Thompson dies in this book, and his widow gives Harry a file that Thompson took with him when he retired 20 years ago from the Los Angeles police force. Bosch decides to investigate this cold case to see why it was so important to his mentor. The second to the last book is Fuimos Elegidos. This is Veronica Roth's first book for adults. And all who know me know I love her YA novels. And this one reads very similar to her YA books. This one has 5 teenagers who defeated a supernatural adversary 15 years ago. And all these teenagers became to be known as the chosen ones. Well, 10 years later, one of the chosen one dies, and during the funeral, the remaining members discover that the Dark One's world was never truly destroyed. So she still brings into her dystopian elements, but this is her book for adults. And then lastly, in Spanish, it's hashtag also, right? Okay, hashtag Una Lucrecia, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And this is a book that's very interesting because it takes a look at gender violence. And it's funny to say that this book is part of a series called Vera Romantica, you know, when I first talk about violence. But the character in this book realizes, you know, that there are no fairy tale romances, that sometimes there can be unpleasant elements to any relationship, but that hope can triumph over that, and you can sort of evolve and no longer become a victim to the violence that she suffers in the beginning of this book. And that does it. Those were my 20 favorite adult books recently.
Thank you, Margie. And here we're putting all the information. Ingrid Portales, you can contact her or Margie for any of the books that presented here or many more. Those are the favorites that she selected, but of course we have many more that we can recommend. And thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, Alex, Ingeborg, our friends at Lectorum. Thank you very much. As a reminder, the chat is enabled, so if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat. So our next presenter is Edgardo Montezuma Our next presenter is Edgardo Montezuma from Fondo de Cultura Económica USA. Fondo de Cultura Económica USA is a corporate member of Reforma. For more information about this company and contact information, please visit reforma.org/bookbuzz, and remember to use our hashtag #ReformaBookBuzz. As a reminder, please feel free to add your questions to the comment box during the presentation, and they will be answered at the end. Welcome, Edgardo. Edgardo, we can't hear you. No te escuchamos. We can't hear you. I think you're muted, maybe.
Edgardo, we cannot hear you. No.
No, we can't hear you.
Edgardo, it might be your mic settings. So it's your microphone for your computer. If you can take a look at those. If not, you might want to step out and maybe log back in and see if that resets the mic. Make sure you don't have any other windows that use the mic open. No, Edgardo, we can't seem to hear you. We can see you just fine. The camera's working, pero no.
Did you click on join with audio, Edgardo? And while Edgardo gets connected, we do have a questions. Are there any handouts you can send us? So for all the distributors and publishers, please share your email so that people can request a handout of all the books presented here today. Thank you. I don't know if we want to go with Mariela from Spanish Publishers. Mariela, are you ready?
Mariela, yeah, if you're ready, Mariela, we can go ahead with you, but only if you're ready.
I am ready.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, sounds good then. Okay, so well, you're not now our last presenter, so that was originally the plan. But here we have Mariela Diaz from Spanish Publishers. Spanish Publishers is a corporate member of Reforma. For more information about this company and contact information, please visit reforma.org/bookbuzz. And remember to use our hashtag Reforma BookBuzz. Feel free to add your questions to the comment box during the presentation and they will be answered at the end. Welcome, Mariela.
Thank you so much, Elisa. Hello, everybody. Some of you already know me. Those who don't know me, my name is Mariela Diaz, and I work for Spanish Publishers since May 2009, almost 11 years. Spanish Publishers has the exclusive distribution of 14 publishers. 11 are from Spain and 3 are from Mexico. 2 more publishers will be part of the Spanish Publishers family this year. These 2 publishers are Hedisa and Attica. Our company has stock available in the United States in our warehouse in Miami, the Sunshine City. We have more than 6,000 different titles, trending US bestsellers. Also, we can customize your collection as per your favorite community preferences. You may buy the books through your preferred distributor. We can start, please. Can we go to the next one, please? So you already saw the presentation of Don Miguel Ruiz. With these 2 books, we have an edition in Spanish and then we have another edition in English. So you can get both editions. I know that at the end of the year, we're gonna have the second part of the series of 4 books. So we are very excited about this good title, this very good title. Next one, please. Here we go. And Bridgerton series right now in Netflix. It's a very, very good series. First book in the series in Netflix is El Duque y Yo. Next one that will be available in Netflix in spring will be El Vizconde que me amó. So I will say you will need to have in your collection all these 8 books from the series. Next one, please. El hombre en busca de sentido. This one is a very good title. It's from Viktor Frankl. It's a personal growth book. As you can see, the Amazon rank is 48 in books, number 1 in popular psychology, psychotherapy, number 1 in Jewish Holocaust history, and number 1 in Judaism books. According to the Library of Congress in Washington, it's one of the 10 most influential books in the United States. Let's go to the next one, please. Fish, this is the edition number for the 20th anniversary. So it's a revised edition, a new, very new edition. Over 6 million copies sold worldwide. Amazon bestseller rank is number 6 in books, business and money, marketing and sales, customer service. Let's go to the next one, please. Another classic book, El hombre más rico de Babilonia, The Richest Man in Babylon. It's business and economics. As you can see, the Amazon bestseller rank is number 3 in econometrics, number 8 in econometrics and statics, and number 18 in ancient Mesopotamia history. This is a beautiful designed hard copy edition of the complete classic work. Let's go to the next one, please. El nuevo millonario de la puerta de al lado, The Next Millionaire Next Door. The Secrets of America's Wealthy in the 20th century. This one is a personal growth. As you can see, also the Amazon rank over here. It's 14 in budgeting, and it's number 32 in wealth management. The Next Millionaire Next Door is a compilation of insights of and behavior. The actions of mindsets and wealth builders is mostly unchanged, but the rise in technology opportunities available today give a wider opportunity for wealth builders to control their savings and investing strategies. Informative, encouraging, and enlightening book. The next one, please. La vida invisible de Audie Laurie, The Invisible Life of Audie Laurie. It's a science fiction and fantasy book. A feature film studio, E1, has acquired rights for the movie, which will be produced by Gerard Butler's company, G-Base. Amazon rank for this book is number 1 in historical fantasy and number 5 in romantic fantasy. An instant bestseller for New York Times, USA Today, National Indie, and Washington Post. The best book by CNN, Amazon, Goodreads, Bastel, Pop Sugar, BuzzFeed, Barnes & Noble, Kirkus Reviews, The North Daily, Chicago Tribune, New York Daily News. Let's have the next one, please. Dormir en un mar de estrellas, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. This one is a science fiction and fantasy book. Amazon book bestseller rank is number 11 in colonization science fiction, number 14 in exploration science fiction, number 18 in the first contact science fiction. New York Times bestseller, number 1 New York Times bestseller, number 1 Publishers Weekly bestseller, number 1 USA Today bestseller, and Wall Street Journal bestseller. is the winner of Best Science Fiction in the 2020 Goodreads Choice Awards. Let's go to the next one, please. Fisherman está en apuros. Fishman is in trouble. This one is a fiction book from Urano, New York Times bestseller, National Book Award long list, finalist for the National Book Critics Circles John Leonard Prize by Best First Book, named one of the best books of the year by New York Times, Washington Post, Entertainment Weekly, Vanity Fair, Vogue, Chicago Tribune, Elle, The Guardian, Good Housekeeping, Mary Claire, Kirkus Reviews, Shelf Awareness. Let's go to the next one, please. El libro de la disciplina suave, The Gentle Discipline Book. This one is a parenting and family book. Amazon bestseller rank is number 109 in school-age children parenting. How to raise cooperative, polite, and helpful children. The beauty of Oakwell Smith guidance. She's low on judgment and high on helpful insights into why your kid can go from angle to monster in 10 seconds flat. That's a review from BookPage. Please go to the next one. Guía del Trading Online para Principiantes. A Beginner's Guide to Day Trading Online. This one is a business and economics book. National bestseller update for the new stock market.
¿Qué hago esto?
Amazon bestseller rank number 4 in export and imports economics, number 57 in
¿Estás escuchando?
professional books. Read this book and...
Perdón, Mariela, por interrumpirte. I just want to confirm that we can hear Edgardo for the next presentation. So, Mariela, sorry for that interruption.
That's okay.
You are good to go, Edgardo, for next, and then we'll just continue with Mariela's presentation. Gracias. Okay, Mariela, you're good to continue. Sorry for that.
All right. So we were talking about Guía del Trading Online para Principiantes, a beginner's guide to day trading online. This one is a business and economics title. The national bestseller updated for the new stock market. Amazon bestseller rank is number 4 in export and imports economics, and it's number 57 in e-commerce professional books. You will see here, there's a review from John Pearson, president of nationalfutures.com. Next one, please. María Magdalena Revelada. Mary Magdalene rebelled, the first apostle, her feminist gospel, and the Christianity we haven't tried yet. This one is religion and spirituality. As you can see, Amazon bestseller rank is number 4 in Gnosticism books, number 19 in ancient and controversial knowledge, number 62 in Christian Bible study guides in books, Wall Street Journal bestseller. And the Gospel of Mary Magdalene reveals a very different love story from the one we've come to refer to as Christianity. Harvard-trained theologian Megan Watterson leads us verse by verse through Mary's Gospel to illuminate the powerful teaching it contains. Let's go to the next one, please. El ayuno como estilo de vida, life in the fasting lane, how to make intermittent fasting a lifestyle. This one is nutrition and dieting. As you know, the fasting is something that is very new right now in nutrition and dieting, and it's giving some very good results. Amazon bestseller rank is number 8 in weight loss diets, books and originals. It's number 35 in weight loss diets books. It's number 39 in nutrition books, and it's number 97 in other diet books. This book is a timely and practical blueprint to reclaiming your vitality. Eve Meyer, Megan Ramos, and Dr. Jason Fung have created a guide to entertains, enlightens, motivates, and inspires all the people that are doing these diets. Let's go to the next one, please. Vibrar en positivo, vivir en positivo. Good vibes, good life, how to self-love is the key to unlocking your greatness. This book is a personal growth, a wonderful book for New Year's resolution, a real worldwide to achieving a greater life, be the best version of you that you can be. It's Amazon rank is number 1 in Sunday. It's number 1 in Sunday Times bestseller, but Amazon is number 40 in happiness self-help, number 80 in motivational self-help, number 81 in personal transformation self-help. Over 300,000 copies sold. Of the original English version, the author is a social media influencer with more than 500,000 followers in Instagram. Let's go to the next one, please. Inside Out, mi historia, Inside Out, la historia de Demi Moore. It's biography and memoirs. Number 1 New York Times bestseller, Amazon bestseller rank is number 39 in rich and famous biographies. A best book of the year by the New Yorker, the Guardian, the Sunday Times, the Daily Mail, Good Morning America. She reads. Demi Moore, famed American actress Demi Moore at last tells her own story in a surprisingly intimate and emotionally charged memoir. Also, we have reviews from USA Today. Her story is equal parts adversity and resilience, told with candor. Next one, please. La Noche de Plata, The Silver Night. This one is a thriller from Roca Editorial. More than 250,000 copies sold in Spain. Elia Barceló, which is a very known author for authentic Spanish writers. So Elia Barceló once again demonstrated her talent and mastery of any literary genre with The Silver Night, with this La Noche de Plata. Let's go to the next one, please. Kamala Harris, Kamala's Way by Dan Morian. This one is biography and memoirs. Amazon bestseller rank, number 3 in Asian politics, number 10 in lawyer and judge biographies, number 15 in the United States national government. Detailed and dutiful, Ms. Harris is her prerogative, omitted much detail from her own autobiography. Mr. Morian has filled in many of those blanks. This one is a review from the Wall Street Journal. Also, you can see reviews from Kirkus, from Booklist, and it's the Vice President of the United States. So, do we have another one? La Biblia Católica Latinoamericana, letra grande. Latin American Catholic Bible, large print. This one is from San Pablo, Religion and Spirituality. Bring the beauty of the Catholic faith into your home with this special, easy to read, large print setting makes the Bible a wonderful reading experience. This one is a revised edition from 2005. Let's go to the next one, please. Poeta Chileno, Chilean poet from Alejandro Zambra, which is a Chilean writer. It's a fiction book, and it's a kind of more literary book, but at the same time, like as beautiful as he write. As low as absorbing voice, persuasive even when in doubt, the awakeness and rewards to desire to continue reading. This one is a review from Times Literary Supplement. Alejandro Zambra's novels, one after another, are like the call of an old friend in the middle of the night, an endearing, elegant, and funny voice with rare and stunning stories. He's a risky, subtle, and fun author. The next one, please. Infancia en Positivo, guía definitiva para padres y madres. Positive Childhood, a definitive guide for parents. This one is a parenting and family. Amazon Spain bestseller rank is number 4 in educational philosophy, number 63 in family and relationships books, and number 66 in education in books. More than 40 practical and read examples. And as you can see here, it's 21 retos resueltos. So it's a very practical guide for parents. Let's go to the next one, please. El coraje de ser tú misma, the courage to be yourself. This one is a personal growth, now in pocket size and at every affordable price. There's nothing more difficult than living in an authentic life in which our deepest beliefs and dreams lay dormant. In this wonderful, inspiring, and wise book, Sue Patton Toll will guide you to discover and celebrate your deepest hopes, desires, and gloriously authentic self. Let's go to the next one, please. Eres lo que piensas. You are what you think. This one is a personal growth from El Grano de Mostaza. A morning, nice reflection daily quote book. A book very much needed in these days and the world is going through. It's wonderful and inspirational. Next one, please. Bruce Lee, un artista de la vida. Bruce Lee, artist of life. Biography and memoirs from this very small publisher, which its name is Cohen. Amazon bestseller rank number 71.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you have about 2 minutes left. So just wanted to
I think that we have 1 or 2 more titles.
Thank you, sorry.
Okay, so Amazon bestseller rank is number 71 in martial artist biographies, named on Time Magazine, 100 greatest men of the century. Let's go to the next one. Este día importa, This Day Matters from Carlos Cuauhtémoc Sánchez, very well-known author from Mexico, from Editorial Diamante. This one is a personal growth. Best-selling Carlos Cuauhtémoc Sánchez is the author of Juventudes en Éxtasis, Youth in Sexual Ecstasy, and Los Ojos de mi Princesa, The Eyes of My Princess, which are also translated to English. Next book, please. La vida después de mi ex, The Life After My Ex. It's a self-help with a fun and sensitive style. Rayo Guzmán bungles the reader into a whirlwind of stories with sad anecdotes and accounts seasoned with strong truths. This book will make you sigh and laugh. A quick book, easy to read. Examen Extraordinario. This one is a fiction book. This volume presents the overview in which readers will find all the qualities that have made the author one of the most popular writers in the country, and in the language, authenticity in characters, a humor that arises from the abrupt encounter between erudition and daily life, and precision to move with a refinement that escapes melodramas. Next one, please. Yeah, so this one was the last one.
The last one. Mm-hmm.
Are we okay with the time?
Well, we have to move on to the next presentation, just so. But does anyone have any questions for Mariela? Please feel free to put them in the chat box, and Mariela will provide her information so that you can reach out to her with any more questions about her presentation. Thank you. Muchas gracias, Mariela.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bueno, ahora sí. So our next presenter is Edgardo Montezuma from Fondo de Cultura Económica USA. Fondo de Cultura Económica USA is a corporate member of Reforma. For more information about this company and contact information, please visit reforma.org, BookBuzz, and remember to use our hashtag ReformaBookBuzz. Please feel free to add your questions to the comment box during the presentation, and they will be answered at the end. Welcome, Edgardo.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I'm sorry for that.
The list.
No, I'm very, very glad. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. When I woke up this morning, my hair was black, and now it's gray, because Kia, who's supposed to do Latin American bookstores, the life went out in Tijuana, in their section of Tijuana, and so I've been dealing with her to try to get it to run. You know, not electricity, but somehow to hook up her phone, but her phone is at 11%, and therefore it's been you know, I'm ready for bed. So can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Edgardo.
Okay, so I'm going to start. Next one. First, Fondo de Cultura Económica, in the last year and a half since they changed the president in Mexico and the director of Fondo de Cultura, there's absolutely no fact. That is, every book that is being published, it has to be published. They're important books. The first one is by Carlos Monsiváis, Que se abre esa puerta. And it's a collection put together by Marta Lamas, a leading feminist from Argentina, but who's lived in Mexico like 50 years, about it is the history of discrimination, of sexual discrimination in Mexico since the beginning of the 20th century. That is, there was so it traces back to 1902, discrimination against against mainly gays, which is, you know, what Carlos had to deal with. The first time I met Carlos Monsiváis, we met at a gay bar. I had never met him. There were no real gay bars that I knew about in Tijuana, but that's where we met. And to me, it seemed very normal because my best friend ever was gay since we met at 12. But Carlos Monsiváis was very aware of the discrimination against lesbians and gays in Mexico, and this is a chronicle of that awful history. Next. Okay, Zapata is, of course, Emiliano Zapata, Tierra y Libertad, es mejor morir parado que vivir de rodillas, kind of thing. He's a hero in Mexico, and there are two books devoted to him in this selection of books. This one represents the paintings, the graphic work about Zapata that was done in a very controversial exhibit in 2019 in Mexico, because not only the macho version of Zapata, the leading, the campesino leader in revolutionary, was presented, but also the way society has has picked up his image in the heroic view that Mexico has, and therefore, he's become a hero not only for the official version, but also for a wider range of representations. One of which is shown in the graphic here, and of course the images created a lot of controversy in Mexico when the exhibit took place. I welcome the expansion of Mexican reinterpretation of history. I welcome the participation. I think we should all welcome the participation of every segment of society, not just the official one. Next one. Octavio Paz, of course, was a Nobel Prize winner, and he was paramount importance in poetry, not only for Mexico but for the Western world. He not only did he create some of the most important salient works of poetry in Mexico, some of the most wonderful illuminating essays. The one on Sor Juana, which is just a 560-page book. It's just a fantastic critics, collection of essays about Sor Juana. But this is iconographic representation, and of course, every picture is accompanied by a text that explains the setting of the picture, and so I don't know. I believe that every book that I'm presenting should be in every academic and public library. Next. Mujeres en las Tormentas is a collection of 4 stories, really. Marlene Dietrich, Kalantay, which is Dietrich was of course an actress from Berlin during the war in the Second World War, and then Alexandra Kolontai was the first Russian woman that was part of the political power, the first woman in the political power of the Politburo in Russia. The next one, Ian Hellman, the writer, the screenwriter from the U.S. Last one is the Mexican composer, whose name is Conchita Michel, who was a singer, composer, and a political activist. Luis Castillo León writes a biography about Hidalgo. He's called the Padre de la Independencia in Mexico, and of course, the official version that has been carried through history, that reaches us, is this of a criollo. A criollo is the direct descendant of Spaniards, and who, of course, was disputing the overwhelming power that Spain had in Mexico at the time, and of course, they also wanted some power for themselves. But this biography also shows a more riskier interpretation or history of Hidalgo, in which the senior side is shown, the darker side, in which he's a violent, plotting priest that eventually became the father of Mexican independence. Next. El último suspiro del conquistador is a novel that I have not read, nor the next one. But el último suspiro is about the protagonist Jacinta, who is an archaeologist, an anthropologist, who finds a bottle. In the bottle, inside the bottle is the spirit of Hernán Cortés. So the novel is supposed to be so the spirit of Hernán Cortés permeates the activities around Jacinta's encounter. Next one is El Bordo. El Bordo is I haven't read it either, but it's if it's a refined version of what you would see in Mexican soap operas all the time. You know, the class system in which very few have the control of the majority of, 50% of the money in Mexico, and then you have a 50%. A small percentage of the population being middle class, and then a very large population that is struggling just to make ends meet. And that's why you can have, tacos on the streets in Mexico, because that alternative form of making a living has to be allowed to happen, because otherwise people would not have anything to eat. So the novel is about that encounter between high and lower classes and the self-examination that the upper classes have, their interpretation of themselves. It shows all the contrast in the quotidian day-to-day life of Mexico. Next one, that's fantastic. Edwin, it is buenísimo. Nada es para tanto, and todo está permitido. As I said in the last presentation I made, Oscar de la Hoya is absolutely a nutty character in Mexico. I've known him for years. He wrote a novel once that I admire very much, in which is it's called Vowels, Vocales. It has 5 chapters, and each of the chapters is written with only one vowel. So the first chapter is with A, and then A, E, I, O, U. So just imagine a whole chapter with only one vowel, and of course consonants. But it can be read. It's an interesting challenge. But that's how nutty he is. So in these 2 short novels, he explores all of the it's about the erotic life of discovery of people that do not fit the mold, two characters that do not fit the mold, and so they defy the destiny society and family have programmed for them, and he's as transgressive and as fun as witty as they come. So an interesting novel. Oro Sucio, it's another novel I have not read, but Oro Sucio, if Mexico has anything that, Mexico is just such a fantastic country in which you have, climates and nature and 2 oceans and and lakes and the volcanoes and snow and cold, but it also has corruption. And corruption is this novel is about the corruption in Mexico, in which the official government creates allegiances with the mafia and the darker side of Mexico to keep control. But of course, once you ally yourself with the bad guys, you have to continue trying to eradicate them, because otherwise they'll go after you. So it's a novel that exemplifies that side of Mexico. Okay, I'm going to go very, very fast because I'm on the first page and I have 10 minutes, 9:51 to go. But again, every one of the books here should be read by the widest possible audience. Okay, El Hijo del Héroe is about. You will notice that we have a lot of publishers, a lot of titles from different countries. Fondo Cultura Económica is really trying to express the sentiment, the historical time of many different countries in the choices that we make for publication. So El Hijo del Héroe is about Ernesto, a 12-year-old kid whose father died is killed in the war in Angola. So it's a reflection of Cuba's participation in the war in Africa. Requiem por Teresa is a novel that when I read it, I read it in Spain at the Liber last year, and it was photographing the author Dante, and it's a novel that I took it home. He signed it, gave it to me, and I could stop. The impact of this novel is tremendous, because Requiem, of course, is a We have Mozart, we have many requiems in music, but requiem is a sad song of recollecting. It's a mass, a requiem. It's it sort of goes through there. It's of a few friends in a bar with Elvis, an imitator of Elvis in the background, and he's trying to tell the story of his sister, whom he very much loved, the protagonist, but who is doomed in that society because of being a woman and being beautiful and being seen as an object. And she, of course, eventually marries some guy that wanted her only for her beauty, and a military guy who ended up killing her. And so it is the protagonist's story about a sister that he always wanted to help, but he never had the power. That is, he never had the individual power to confront society and stop that nonsense. So again, it's a must. The next one, Allegro by Chilean Ariel Dorfman, is an interesting novel that I stopped reading after a while, but it is about Mozart feeling that Bach was assassinated, as well as Handel, and so it's an investigation that Mozart does into how the plot to kill Bach and Handel, the composers, was created. I'm going to the next one. Thank you. I have not read La Alegría, but again, Brazil, and then España, La Noche del Caimán. I sort of recommend them just because of the context in which they are being selected and published, but I have not even, I have the novels, but I have not read them. Monarcas is a very interesting novel because it was written by Sebastián, who quickly became a friend, and Juan Hernandez Luna, a writer that he had met in Mexico and who died before the publication of the novel. And most of the novel was written in their exchange of Sebastián's exchange with Juan Hernandez, writing and chapters and correcting and criticizing and commenting. In the novel, so it's about a love story of a Mexican guy writing to a woman she's in love with in France, but whose letters are actually reaching a newspaper, guy person who that sells newspapers, and so it's the story of that relationship in which the French young person tries to find the actual love object of the protagonist. So very much the novel sort of mirrors the what happened in real life. Examen Extraordinario by Juan Villoro. Of course, Juan Villoro is one of Mexico's leading writers, novelists. He also is a brilliant essayist, and so it's just it's a great collection of his short stories. The next one, if there are two, I mean, I recommend every one of these books, but if there are two books that have to be long, oh my God, I have 4.5 minutes, and then I have to do Kia's presentation. So both Julio Ramon Ribeiro and Carlos Respecto are leading. Ribeiro is a Peruvian writer, and probably one of the best short story writers that Latin America has the privilege of publishing and having, and of course Clarice Lispector is a selection of 85 stories that Clarice wrote in the difficult and tragic life she led. And of course, Clarice Lispector is one of the leading writers in Latin America. Next. You can go to the next one because this is the spectrum. Okay, and of course, El Laberinto de la Soledad with postdata, which is like an afterword, and then Vuelta, which is an interview that he does with Claude Fell about El Laberinto de la Soledad. Everybody knows what it is, so I won't dwell. I'll continue drawing on this title. Vicente Guerrero, El Carácter. Again, Vicente Guerrero is a leading revolutionary in Mexico during the War of Independence. He was Afro-American, which is something, in Mexico, the fact that there's quite a bit of African ascent, really. Population is sort of not negated by just simply unknown, but he was one of the leading leaders in the war for independence, and so José Mancisidor captures a lot of the Netflix is a next one.
And Carlos, you have about a minute and a half.
2.5. No, I have 2:10. Okay.
Okay.
I have it right here. Okay.
Okay.
Samurai the Graphic is a fantastic novel. It's about this Japanese guy that came from Japan when he was a kid to Mexico and ended up fighting with right next to Francisco Villa and becoming sort of a doctor, nurse, and eventually became a photographer who moved to Tijuana, and he's a photographer of some of the most iconic photographs in Tijuana from the 30s, 40s, Casino Agua Caliente, and so forth. It is just a must-have. So go ahead. The next one, the title says self-explanatory, and it refers back to what I was saying before. Africans the black impact of Mexican African Mexicans, I guess. Yes, in Mexico, and I think it's important. Next one, Historia de la Ciencia. I have one minute. Historia de la Ciencia. It is unthinkable to think of us as Western people without the impact that the Islamic, Arabic cultures have had. I mean, we would not be able to multiply because we acquire what we call the Arabic, numeros arábigos, which is included the zero, which was unknown to us Western people until I believe around the 12th century. We picked up their numeric code, I guess. México Profundo, of course. Ampones, Pelados y Picatrices is I have 17 seconds. And it's about the 50s in Mexico, of how bad people, ampones, prostitutes, were seen in that time. The last one I'm going to mention, I just finished my time. But the last one I want to mention is traducir. There's a dialogue that Reforma I would like to have Reforma in an open podium, because authentic literature, and the idea that we want authentic literature, is limiting many aspects of who we are. Nothing that we do, the language I'm speaking to you to right now, the language that I dream, that I use for my dreams at night, Spanish. Everything is translation. All of the Greeks and the Russians and the Japanese, Chinese, everything is translated. Everything is authentic. So when we think authentic literature as something coming out of Oaxaca, we have to rethink that whole process. And I would love to participate in sort of an open forum so that we can really clarify some questions that may arise. Thank you so much, and let's move on.
Yes, thank you, Edgardo. So now take a few seconds to get yourself together and get ready for the next
You know what?
presentation.
I will never be together because as it turns out, I just found out that electricity was the electricity in Tijuana is like off and on. So Kia calls me and says, I'm ready. And then of course, oh no. And then, so it is one of those, life in the tropics, as you know, is a little different than it is here.
You'll be presenting for Latin American book?
I am presenting a Latin American bookstores.
Okay.
Company, but
and I just want to say the Latin American Bookstores is a corporate member of Reforma. And again, for more information about this company and the contact information, remember to visit reforma.org/bookbuzz and to use our hashtag #ReformaBookBuzz. And again, if you have any questions for Edgardo during his presentation or right after, remember to add your questions to the comment box. Okay, we are ready, and I'm glad you have a timer, so go ahead and push that timer, Edgardo.
Yeah, you're trying to cheat me out of seconds here. Okay.
A whole minute.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm just, you know how I am. Okay, so of course, Latin American Bookstores has been around forever, and it's probably the longest, one owner, continuously owned by the same people for the last 30 years. And so we distribute books from any publisher, and we make a monthly selection that we diligently send to all of you. I hope you receive it, and in spite of these unusually difficult times, we're still trying to punctually send you information about new releases. So the first section is COVID, and I don't think that there's any need to comment about this. I'm talking from my office, and I don't leave my office because, of course, it is just a read. You should read the descriptions of the books. They're very interesting. Pandemia Bizarra is really a sort of humor. Of course, as Del Toro said, we are Mexican, and I am Mexican, and as Mexicans, we're confronted daily with bizarre situations. Of course, we have Dia de Muertos. We celebrate the darker, inevitable contact with a less perfect world. So there's a book that is sort of humor, and then the other two books are much more serious in the. I don't know how much relevant, and they're relevant in the sense that we should all be aware of the impact and the interpretation and mainly, I think, of everything that this pandemic is teaching us. Next one. Titles are self-explanatory. El color del privilegio, of course, is in Mexico. Nobody realizes that there's racism. It is more like a social distinction between the ones that have and the ones that do not have, and the have-nots. However, it is by luck it becomes quite evident quite quickly that the ones that the darker you are, the less you have. That is, the more you are from Oaxaca, Guerrero, from the let's say the original peoples of Mexico, the tougher you have it. Pechos Fuera and Maldita Feminista they're both titles about feminism, and the step male includes me. Perhaps I contribute. I'm not aware of contributing, but those things happen very, very in a very subtle way. Next one. Okay. No need to comment about this. It's all over the place. You can have it. I think he's a great guy. Voted for him. I'm very glad. Next one. Luna is one of those, good-looking Mexican, nicely dressed people with ties, and who are a part of the government, and that they have to do dirty jobs to keep the hegemony running the country, and of course they have to dirty their hands time and again, and then they end up hugely rich. With rich fortunes stocked away in Andorra and other European countries, or some Cayman Islands in the Caribbean, and that's one of those beautiful guys. It's just a description of that type of individual. La hermosa poesía involuntaria de AMLO. It's a very funny book. And I think that it's just a funny book because he's, I don't think that there has been a Mexican president that has been as accessible to the people in Mexico, but he's one of those guys that probably he speaks a little too much, and so this is a collection of verbal transgression that he's made, and over the last 2 or 3 years, and it's quite a funny book. Next one, La Guerra del General Omar Torrijos. I think that it's a biography on Torrijos, the hombre fuerte, a strong man from Panama. So next one. Artes de Mexico is probably one of the most fantastic publishers in Latin America. They have Artes de Mexico, the leading art magazine in Mexico, and they have more issues devoted to different aspects of Mexican culture, crafts, poets, museums, and so this is about amuletos, and it's really and so it sort of examines what different cultures within Mexico believe about some objects called amulets, in which they have some kind of impact because of the belief, magical power of these objects. Next one, La Roma. After Roma, who could possibly not know about La Colonia Roma, one of the most interesting neighborhoods in Mexico, and this is a recorrido. This is a monograph devoted to La Colonia Roma. Next one. Again, bestiario artesanal. If you go to any place in Mexico, the crafts representing animals in Mexico, they're just phenomenal, delicate. They're deliriously fantastic. So this is a monograph devoted to that. They of course also do books, monographs, and this is mal de ojo, empacho y otras enfermedades tradicionales. This is anybody. I don't have to. If you happen to come somehow from Mexico, either in the last 300 years or in the last 2 weeks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is in Mexico. If you talk to anybody that there's a lot of beliefs in sort of not only illnesses but remedies for any kind of illness that you may have. And so how am I doing? 11:44. Let's and then the other one is Medicina Náhuatl en la Sierra de Texcoco. So again, it's a book about the Medicina Náhuatl, which is the Náhuatl being the Aztecs in Mexico. Next. I don't think that I have to say much about this. Porque Enfermamos is a practical book, proposes to travel to the origins of pain and disease to listen to our body. and detect the warning signs and translate what the symptoms are saying to us. In sumo de apio, the celery juice, I actually drink it. It's just a book to have. The effect is somewhat better than drinking tequila, and so I would recommend you actually make it accessible to your patrons. El significado del dolor is this is osteopath's Nick Potter's insights into biology, evolution, and social behavior that is causing us pain. Next, El Cuarto Trimestre. This is a holistic guide, offers a practical advice to support women through postpartum healing and physical, emotion, in relational and spiritual levels. Poder Indómito. I cannot claim that I've read it, but it's but I will probably not read it. But again, descubre la magia de tu ciclo menstrual. I don't have any immediate need for it, but I'm sure that at least half of your patrons would probably would love to have access to that book. ¿Qué pasa ahí abajo? Again, guía definitiva sobre la anatomía, periodo, embarazo. An essential book. I recommend it. I have no personal need for it, but I would certainly buy it for my two daughters. Next one. Sexo slow y sexo tántrico y menopausia. I think that the titles are self-explanatory, and I still have 9 minutes, but everything by New Pearson in these publishers, they're very good books, and they have a lot of circulation, and of course these titles, I'm sure that quietly would really call attention to a lot of people that would pretend not to check them out, but if I were you, I would have them accessible, because they're really they should be in libraries, and people should have access to these titles. Next, they're small books, and El Pequeño Libro de la Respiración. All the power to you. I wish I really wish I could read this book every day and practice it. The same thing, El Pequeño Libro de la Resiliencia, El Pequeño Libro de la Brujería. I have nothing to do with brujería, but socially there's a lot of impact lots of people believe in witchcraft and in the healing properties of crystals and daily incantations and that kind of thing. I think that I think that these books can have a positive impact, because as long as people believe, what certain practices and beliefs, I think that actually lives do improve. I do become better if I'm convinced I am better. So next one. Hacking espiritual, las claves chamánicas para acceder a tu poder personal. Again, I was caught off guard. I'm sure that Kia would have something intelligent to say about these books, but I have not. I just haven't read them or even touched them. But they're quite popular in libraries. So who would have thought a few months ago, 15 months ago, that we would be living out of our offices and out of our bedrooms and out of our houses because of a tiny virus that no one has seen. You cannot see it. And that we would create a vaccination that I took 2 days ago that had me in bed, exhausted yesterday. And so it is magic. And so I do get more and more people that believe in that, you know, that we sort of depend on forces that we can control. Cómo hacer dinero por arte de magia. I should definitely read that one. And then El Buda y el Chingón. I love the title. I know nothing about it, but Secretos Espirituales para alcanzar éxito en tu trabajo. You know, I should get copies for employees here. Though El Chingón, which is quite a popular word in Mexico. I just find the combination, the opposition between Buddha, enlightenment, and Chingon to be quite funny on a cover of a title of a book. Next one. Walter Rizzo, but most of you patrons know about him, and this is one of his books. I know a lot of people that read Walter Rizzo. I've never read one of his books, but they think the world of him. Sabiduría del alma, conversaciones transformadoras con los líderes espirituales del mundo by no other than Oprah Winfrey. Just the author, the name of the author herself would make this title a must in any library. I'm you know, I've never watched Winfrey, but I did watch her a few times, and I think that she made a lot of contributions to our society in terms of the interviews and her points of view, and in the clarity that she brought to her programs. You know, she was a woman with a cause, and the cause was good. So 12, Tu camino para sanar, 12 pasos para confiar en ti. It's the same type of book. Go ahead. Next one. Nutrición, recetas de insectos. Again, you know, a lot of people go to Oaxaca and eat the chapulines. I would not dare. I'm too much of a coward. But of course they're packed with protein, and perhaps we should rethink our approach to insects. At least people like myself, who are like, you know, I won't even eat out of a taco stand on the street. You know, I'm picky like that. But this is a book that gives a lot of examples of insects in normal diets, and so great. Next one. Okay, I'm a little thrown off because Postres Gourmet and Light. I wish I had it, and I wish I could make them, but it's a library book, you know, for sure. So next one. A Beber Sin Sed, the importance of not only drinking enough, but choosing correctly what you have to drink. Next one, Comer Bien para Estar Bien. It's obvious, you know, we really are what we eat. And you know, this pandemic has me eating a lot of things that I should probably not eat, and it's beginning to show in a very public way. So as soon as I can, I'll go back to my normal sort of healthier diet. Come seguro comiendo de todo. You know, as they say, as my mom used to say, you know, every vegetable, everything, every fruit has a different color. So choose like a sort of panoply, the most extensive spectrum of colors you can eat, and you'll be okay. I believe that too. Next. Gracias, Edwin. Qué bárbaro. Muy bien. Crecer juntos, yugo y disciplina positiva para afrontar los retos de la educación. Great. Habla con ellos. Habla con, you know, of course, talking to you know, I never had a sex talk with my kids. They seem to be doing okay. But I think that the more proactive approach is to actually openly think about, talk about things that they should know about, and explore, you know. Next. History, Cumbiana, is they tell me, and I don't know anything about this, that Carlos Vives is a well-known musician. Cumbiana is sort of is the impact of cumbia in our lives in Latin America. So again, a must. La Güera Rodriguez, I always thought that she was somebody that I could almost date because that's how famous she was when I was growing up. And I just found out that she's from the 19th century. So it would have been an interesting date. But she was very famous and she knew everybody, and everybody wanted to know her a little more. So that's La Güera Rodriguez. La Ciudad del Vapor is Ruiz Zafon's experience with, let me see if I don't want to lie. No, it's part of a saga. So, but it's Ruiz Zafón. People would check it out. I have 12 seconds. Carlos Destino, Benito Taibo, my boss, a great novelist. He's the best. Nobody sells more novels than Benito Taibo in Mexico. I know, I'm sorry. Gee, Paco Taibo is my boss. Benito Taibo is his brother. He's absolutely popular and he's a delight. And he's really become more and more popular in Mexico. Next, I don't have time for this. Benitez, I don't have to talk about him. La Hija Única, she's a great novelist. Guillermo el Toro, I saw the I am Mexican, which explains a lot of people a lot of things to a lot of people that do not get Dia de Muertos, that do not get eating chapulines, that do not get us. But there's something very unique about being from Mexico. And Mexico, of course, is becoming sort of the United States of Latin America, because now we have, thousands of people from Central America. Welcome. People from Peru, from Colombia. We're talking tens of thousands of people are arriving from Argentina, from everywhere. So you're welcome. Great.
You did it.
And I cannot believe I made it. I'm now, if anybody recorded this last time I spoke, both Gabi and Kia were laughing at what I said. And I'm sorry if I said something that I shouldn't have. And I hope my beard goes back to darker after today. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgardo. You made it. You did it. You got your boss's book in there, so that's good. Well, thank you very much. And we want to thank everybody for joining us today. We want to thank Don Miguel Ruiz, all the presenters from Lorito Books, HarperCollins Español, Lectorum Publications, Fondo de Cultura Económica USA, Latin American Bookstores Inc., and Spanish Publishers. This was just the first event of the Reforma Virtual Spanish Language Book Buzz Winter Series, featuring 18 distributors and publishers. We have 4 more sessions scheduled, so please visit reforma.org/bookbuzz to register to attend future events. Elisa, you're muted.
Okay, I got it right. Okay. So once again, thank you, everyone. Just a reminder that Reforma is an affiliate of the American Library Association. We're bringing this program series free of charge. And if you would like to support Reforma, consider becoming a member. Volunteering or donating, go to reforma.org/get-involved. This Thursday, our keynote speaker will be Margarita Engel and Candlewick Press, La Librería, Spanish Publishers, Lorito Books, and Lectorum Publications will be back to present a book buzz for children and young adult titles. Los esperamos. Thank you y muchas gracias. Bye.